Well, he did it, ladies and gentlemen. Donald Trump crashed the U.S. economy overnight. Just like me and every other leftist content creator told you he would. Because, in fact, the leftists are the ones with common sense, and anybody who is still in MAGA is in a fucking cult. So we're going to cover a lot of stuff here today, but before we do, I just want to remind you to like, comment, subscribe, and hit the notification bell. It costs you nothing and it helps me immensely. If you do want to help the channel financially, there's a couple of ways you could do that. You could buy some of the merch, you could become a patron, you can become a member here, and you could use that 40% off discount on Ground News. But enough about me. Let's dive into how the Führer is destroying our nation, right? How about that? Hey, MAGA, feeling great yet? Are we making America great again yet? Because I got a couple of these for you. Here's the Dow, down 3.98% today. I waited for the market to close. Here's the S&P 500, down 4.84%. Here's the NASDAQ. It's down 5.97%. Just so you understand, this is the worst crash since 2020, since the fucking pandemic, and this is day one. Day one. I know I'm smiling. I'm not smiling because I'm happy that the economy is crashing. I'm smiling because now all of you brain-dead MAGA chuds are going to have to literally defend this. The Dow nosedives 1,600 points, the S&P 500, and the NASDAQ drops the most since 2020 after Trump's tariff onslaught. Stocks plummeted Thursday, sending the S&P 500 back into correction territory for its biggest one-day loss since 2020, after President Donald Trump unveiled sweeping tariffs, raising the risk of a global trade war that plunges the economy into recession. Hey, MAGA, you voted for this. Do you feel stupid yet? Because you really fucking should. You are stupid. You're stupid. And you're destroying the global economy because you're in a cult. And the cult leader can't do any wrong. Stupid, dummy, idiot. The broad market index dropped 4.84% and settled at 5,396.52 points, posting its worst day since June 2020. The Dow Jones Industrial Average tumbled 3.98%, and the NASDAQ plummeted 5.97%. This is just the beginning. This is day one. I know that they called it Liberation Day, so I'm going to shorten that into L Day. Happy L Day, everybody. Happy L Day. And now what you're going through is L Day plus one. Yesterday was L Day. The United States took the biggest fucking L in its history. Now you're going through L Day plus one. Are you having fun yet? Well, this cocksucker, you know what he's doing, right? You do know what he's doing. He's crashing the economy so that stocks are so incredibly low, and his billionaire oligarch friends like Elon Musk and Jeff Bezos and Sundar Pichai and Mark Zuckerberg, all of the real cabinet members, they're going to gobble up every last sector of the economy so that they have effective control. That's what's going to happen. While you are going to have to struggle to buy grocery prices, which during his speech yesterday he said, groceries, what an old school word. They get a bag and they put things in it. A can of milk, you put it in the grocery bag. A can of milk, that's what he said. This man is not one of us. This man is so disconnected from reality that I actually, genuinely, firmly believe, and I would be willing to bet money on this, that Donald J. Trump has never gone grocery shopping once in his entire life. I'm genuinely willing to die on that hill. He was born immensely wealthy. His fucking mother probably did all the shopping, and then they probably got their servants too. And, I genuinely refuse to believe that Donald Trump has ever stood in line at a cash register waiting to pay at like a fucking ShopRite. I don't believe it. And you think this man represents you? How does the boot fucking taste? But again, we've talked about this a million times, guys. Somewhere between like 22% and 34% of the people who voted for Donald Trump are in a MAGA death cult. They will unironically cheer while the market collapses, because as long as Donald Trump is happy, so will they. So I wanted to just bring up a couple of clips for you. Here's Donald Trump's reaction.
This is one of the most important days, in my opinion, American history. It's our declaration of economic independence. My fellow Americans, this is Liberation Day. April 2nd, 2025 will forever be remembered as the day American industry was reborn, the day America's destiny was...
This is really giving, like when George W. Bush said, mission accomplished. Motherfucker put out this video of like massive celebration while the economy is tanking. The economy is plummeting, and facts don't care about your fucking feelings.
...was reclaimed, and the day that we began to make America wealthy again. American steel workers, auto workers, farmers, and skilled craftsmen watched in anguish as foreign leaders have stolen our jobs, foreign cheaters have ransacked our factories, and foreign scavengers have torn apart our once beautiful American dream. Our country and its taxpayers have been ripped off for more than 50...
So we're not watching this whole thing. It's just a whole bunch of fucking bullshit. Just a whole bunch of fucking bullshit. But what we will watch is Caroline Leavitt, the laminated face cunt who comes on and represents Donald Trump and has to lie for a living. Let's watch her for a second, okay? Because I want you to pay attention to what she says.
American people, though, how long their wallets are going to feel this before things get better.
Yesterday was a great day for our country, and President Trump delivered on a campaign promise that he made to the 80 million American voters who elected him to this highest office, a promise that many presidents before him for decades refused to deliver upon.
Really? Really? Fucking all these previous presidents promised to impose the highest tariffs in American history onto foreign nations that we, the consumer, are going to have to pay for? Other presidents crash the economy? Is that what this is? You stupid fucking bitch.
As for prices and what the American public can expect, they can expect price stability. They can expect to buy American. It's a patriotic thing to do.
We don't have any American products. We don't have any fucking American products. Just so you understand, there isn't a single car that is made in the United States. None of them. Even Ford or Mustang, right? We ship parts from all over the world to build those cars, the ones that we're building in America. So even if it's an American-made car, the price is going to go up, you fucking idiot. Because we ship products from all over the world to make them. Same thing with your fucking phone. Even if the phone was made in America, which it fucking isn't, we're shipping all of the shit over to create the phone. Same thing with raw minerals. You have to refine raw minerals. We don't... Oh my God, we're so fucked. We're so fucked because the stupidest people in our goddamn nation are in charge.
And most importantly, they can expect their wages to go up. We know that in President Trump's first term, wages went up by $6,500 per person.
That's a lie. That is a bold-faced lie. And I don't even need to prove that that's a lie. You have a job. Did your wages go up by $6,500 per person? Sorry, I forgot to put the camera back on. Let's go back.
This won't be painful at all for American people and consumers, Caroline?
There's not going to be any pain for American-owned companies and American workers because their jobs are...
There's not going to be any pain for American-owned companies or American workers. Really? Do you not know who the American workers are? Because the American workers are the hundreds of millions of fucking people who have to go to the grocery store. A concept that seems to be fucking foreign to the Führer.
Are going to come back home. And again, as for prices, President Trump is working on tax cuts to put more money back into the pocket.
He's working on tax cuts for the rich. His fucking proposed tax plan is to lower the taxes of the 1% to 0% because these stupid motherfuckers believe in trickle-down economics. I actually had an argument with somebody in my fucking comment section who believes that trickle-down economics will work. This is why they want to destroy the Department of Education, because they want you that stupid.
Pockets of Americans.
Fucking unbelievable. Unfucking believable. Here is the proposed tax rate. Here's a chart, and I want you to take a quick look at this chart, okay? This is the tariff rates that other countries actually propose on us, right? And here is the U.S. tariff rate in 2022. Trump's proposal will literally put our tariff rate off of the fucking charts. It is so insane. His tariff policy is so insane that Trump actually managed to do one thing that nobody's been able to do in a really long time. Trump was able to unify Korea, Japan, and China because they just got together and came up with a comprehensive, unified response to Trump's tariff plans. Trump managed to unify the Asian world out of spite because of how terrible his tariff policy is. You're fucked. Whether you voted for Donald Trump or not, you are equally as fucked because the market doesn't give a shit who you voted for. All the market cares about is how much money you've got saved up to ride through the crash. Because let me ask you something. Do you really think Elon Musk is going to feel anything from this? Or Jeff Bezos? Or Mark Zuckerberg? Or Sundar Pichai? Do you really think, or fucking Donald Trump, you really think the billionaires are going to feel any brunt from this? Oh, rats, really, I'm going to have to choose between, buying groceries or paying the rent this month. No, they're never going to have to feel that because billionaires have never been here to save you. The robber barons of the first Gilded Age did not come to save the people. And the robber barons of the second Gilded Age will not come to save you. Trickle-down economics is not real. Fascism is, though. And while we have fucking Gestapo agents wearing masks to cover their identities, running around this nation, literally rounding people up and disappearing them, the market crashes and the billionaires cheer. We're headed into a civil war. I hope you understand that. As soon as, Donald Trump invokes martial law on April 20th and these blue states decide to deploy the National Guard to combat against this, Donald Trump is going to start a civil war. It's going to be state National Guards against each other. This is the end of America. And I'm not a fearmonger. I'm just the only one here who's willing to tell you the truth. You are witnessing the end of a nation, the demise of a democracy. God, we've never been this fucked in our history. We've never been this fucked to the point where Treasury Secretary is urging other countries to take a deep breath and not retaliate because they understand. The Treasury Secretary, Trump is like a bull. You can't fucking lasso a bull. And the Treasury Secretary understands that when other countries retaliate, Trump is going to retaliate. And it's going to start a global trade war. Donald Trump is going to start World War III. At the same time, he's literally floating the idea of nuking Iran.
All of the numbers on the chart that the president brought out in the Rose Garden earlier, the United States is about to have the highest tariff rates in the world. I sat down with the Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent about all of that and more at the White House earlier. And Secretary Bessent, thank you so much for being here. This is obviously a massive announcement that the president just made. I know there were a lot of options
Trump's
being considered behind the scenes, different pathways. How did the president come to this decision?
Well, look, the president's had a vision.
You probably fucking asked ChatGPT to.
For a long time, he's been talking about tariffs. He implemented China tariffs in his first term. So he has been thinking about this for a long time. And with the reciprocal tariffs, there are a group of factors. Is one, what's the other country's tariffs? As important, or sometimes more importantly, what are the non-tariff barriers? Is there currency manipulation, and is there unfair subsidy to labor or finance costs?
Yeah, and when you look at this on the reciprocal tariffs themselves, how did you come up with the calculation, essentially, in terms of what this looks like?
I want you to look at that right there. You see this? I know that we're talking about like 34% for China, 40% for Vietnam, whatever. Trump put a 10% tariff on every single nation on planet Earth. I couldn't come up with a stupider idea if you fucking paid me to. The problem is there are brain-dead MAGA chuds who are going to defend this, and we're going to have to understand that these are quite literally the enemy of the American people.
For each country, because obviously we're looking at the numbers here. There are different ones. And I can see some of the countries disputing some of these reciprocal tariffs, saying that's not actually what we charge.
Yeah, because it's a lie. That chart that Trump pulled up where he said, look at these numbers, this is what they charge us, that was a bold-faced lie. They used ChatGPT to divide up like some other fucking number, like the amount of exports that they send here versus like a tariff rate. It's complete bullshit.
What would your response to that be?
Well, I can tell you USTR has the volumes of data, and they've been doing it a long time. So, and all this will probably be challenged in court, and I think that USTR and Trump's first administration won over 4,000 lawsuits, so I think the data is very robust.
So you expect that if there are any legal challenges that the administration would be successful on that front?
I think...
Of course they're going to be successful. Donald Trump is targeting, quote-unquote, radical judges. He's targeting any judge that stands against him right now. He's already suing multiple law firms who are defending people who are suing the Trump administration. He wrote 2 executive orders targeting law firms that defend people who sue the Trump administration. So, yeah, no, like, the rule of law is gone. Due process is already gone. We know this. The Trump administration admitted that they accidentally deported a legal resident all the way to that fucking prison labor camp in El Salvador. So we already know due process is gone, democracy is gone, the market is crashing, Donald Trump is creating an oligarchy, he is a neo-fascist authoritarian dictator. He needs to be held responsible, he needs to be punished to the full extent of the law. But he won't, because America is fascist.
The data is very robust, and it's going to be difficult to challenge.
And as we're looking at this, on China, for example, some of the nations, there's the baseline 10% tariff, and there's a reciprocal tariff. China has this 34% tariff. There were already 20% tariffs in place on China. So is that 34% on top of that, meaning it's a 54% reciprocal tariff on China?
I believe it is.
Okay.
Oh.
And so
So they even lied on the chart. My bad, guys. I know how I told you that the price of Chinese goods is going to go up by 34%. My apologies. It's going up by 54%. So you're actually fucked.
when you look at that on the reciprocal tariffs, as these are going to an effect, I imagine some of these countries are going to call and try to negotiate this. Is that an option for these countries over the next few days, or what is the White House's mindset on that?
Well, I think the mindset is let's just see where we are, and then...
Look at this one. Also, he said this during the speech. Trump put a 25% tariff on all cars coming into the United States. Every single car. So all you MAGA car guys, if you're still on Donald Trump's side, you're a cuck.
We'll see how President Trump feels about all this.
Okay, so it's essentially up to President Trump if he's in the...
He's the Führer.
The mood to negotiate with some of these
Führer.
countries.
Well, I mean, it's not the mood. It's the how...
Got a shaky voice.
How are we
Feeling
seeing
nervous
things?
because you know the Führer is watching and you can't disrespect the Führer on TV, right? Shaking in your little fucking boots, you turkey-necked piece of shit.
I think the real thing is going to be, and that he's going to gauge the tariff level by, it won't be necessarily the calls from the leaders, it's going to be the calls from industry saying, okay, how can we get these off? And he's going to say, you can get it off, bring your factory to the U.S.
Yeah, and obviously...
So, first of all, you're an idiot if you think that every single industry on planet Earth is going to bring their factories to the United States. Second of all, even if they did, dipshit, it's going to take years to get them running. What do you think, we fucking build a factory overnight and hire thousands of workers? You stupid fuck. So we're just going to allow the economy to crash for what? A year and a half, 2 years before potentially, hypothetically, fucking industries from all over the planet start building factories here in the U.S.? And even then, the factories that we have here ship their goods from across the fucking planet in order to produce it here. Raw materials get refined. The fact that I have to explain this to anybody goes to show that idiocy has won in this goddamn nation.
With the cars, all foreign-made cars imports are getting a 25% tariff starting at midnight. If half the cars coming into the United States are foreign-made, that's hard to turn around overnight, as you know. So what would you say to people in the auto industry who are worried about that timeline and how quickly that can shift?
Buy American.
And what about...
We don't make any cars here in America. Holy ever-loving fuck, I am about to crash out. Let me play this while I pull up a fucking tab down on the other monitor.
American-made cars and produced cars that are being made using foreign-made parts.
Well, I believe the USMCA is exempt.
Yeah, those that are compliant with this, obviously
Yes.
Canada and Mexico are not on here. A lot of these are our closest.
No cars are truly 100% American made, in that they are entirely assembled in the United States using only domestically sourced parts, due to the complexities of global supply chains and the sheer number of components in modern vehicles. Never fucking tell me to buy American ever again! Sorry, I had to lower my fucking volume so I could crash out. Fucking idiots.
Allies,
Fucking
South Korea,
idiots.
Japan. When you look at those countries and the tariffs that they're being charged, if they're calling, what would you say to those nations who may have concerns about how to lower these numbers?
Well, I would say they've been doing it to us for a long time. And
We don't pay the price. The fucking consumer pays the price. When Japan puts a tariff on American goods, I don't pay the price. Japanese civilians pay the price when they decide to buy American. That's what a tariff is.
they don't like tariffs, then why do they have them?
And should we view these as permanent?
That, I think we're going to wait and see how this plays out.
Yeah, you gotta wait
And
and
if
see
countries
what the Fuhrer does.
retaliate, which some have said that they would, some have said they wanted to wait and see, what is the White House's response going to be to those countries?
Well, Caitlin, one of the messages that I'd like to get out tonight is everybody sit back, take a deep breath, don't immediately retaliate. Let's see where this goes, because
Retaliate. If you're a foreign fucking leader watching this, which why the fuck would you be? Retaliate. Put us in our fucking place. I'm advocating for my own fucking demise right now so that Donald Trump can understand that he's an idiot. How do you expect them not to retaliate? Oh my god.
if you retaliate, that's how we get escalation.
And then it becomes a full-fledged trade war, in your view?
Not a trade war, depends on the country.
A trade conflict.
Remember that the history of trade is we are the deficit country. The deficit country has an advantage. They are the surplus countries. The surplus countries traditionally always lose any kind of a trade escalation. So I did.
This guy is too much of a pussy to even say trade war. Also, I don't think this guy knows anything about economics. Who the fuck is
As a
this
student
guy?
of economic history or a professor of economic history, I advise against it.
So you're essentially saying that they should not retaliate.
I would say that doing anything rash would be unwise.
And on the 10% of all imports across the board, that's that baseline on all countries. You know, you've said before that that tariffs should be used strategically. What is the strategy in that? What is the?
This guy was a founder of a macro investment firm, a major donor, fundraiser, and economic advisor for Donald Trump's 2024 presidential campaign. Oh, okay. So this guy does actually know nothing about economics. Great.
Ultimate end game
Well,
for that?
no, I'd said that that's one use of the tariffs. You know, go back all the way to Alexander Hamilton. Alexander Hamilton used them to raise revenue. He used them to protect industry.
Alexander Hamilton was one of the fucking founding fathers. We didn't have manufacturing in this nation yet because we weren't a fucking nation yet!
And President Trump has added the third leg of the stool, which is strategic. So, you know, if we are thinking about a 10% global tariff, and let's assume...
I'm not listening to this fucking jackass no more. I can't do it. You heard what he said. He said to the other nations, he goes, hold on, don't respond yet. Don't retaliate. Just take a deep breath. I'm sorry. I don't know what to tell you other than every single person who voted for Donald J. Trump is an idiot. Anybody who still supports Donald J. Trump will never, ever be forgiven in my eyes. You are intellectually inferior, and you are destroying your own nation. That's all I've got for you today, folks. Friendly reminder to like, comment, subscribe, and hit the notification bell. It costs you nothing and it helps me immensely. If you do want to help the channel financially, you can become a patron on Patreon. Huge shout out to all of my patrons. You could become a member here on YouTube. Huge shout out to all of my members. You could buy some merch and you could use a 40% off discount on Ground News. That's all I got for you. I'll catch you on the next episode of The Valenti VOD.